on the Vision Australia network through your favourite podcast service on 1197 AM in Adelaide. You're listening to Leisure Links. Well, Special Olympics Victoria had their second instalment of their state games not long ago. Let's find out how it went and speak to their state director, Sarah Benning. Hi, Sarah.
Hello, I'm well, thank you.
Great to have you back again. And a couple of the stars, as far as the athletes went, Chelsea Haag-witherdon. How are you, Chelsea?
I'm well, thank you. How about you, Peter?
Excellent, thank you. And Andrew Negrelli is with us as well. How are you, Andrew?
I'm good. How are you, Peter?
Very well. Sarah, how did this go? Because you had like instalment one at the beginning of April, and then later on in April had the second instalment.
Yeah, so we did split it this year, and I'm happy to report that the second weekend also went well.
Now, where was it held? Because you had different sports earlier on, and then some other sports second time round.
We did. So this second weekend was held in the city of Casey. So we had events at Casey Stadium, Casey Fields, Narre Warren, 10-pin bowling, and Casey Race.
So this is pretty significant, wasn't it, Sarah? Because I remember you chatting to us a few weeks ago, and you kind of entered into a bit of a partnership with Casey, and going forward, this is going to be more kind of like your home.
Absolutely. So we're in a 5-year agreement, and this is year one. So really looking forward to heading back to Casey next year and doing a few other events there, including our preparation camp for National Games, which is happening this weekend.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, 14th and 15th.
Terrific. Well, Andrew, tell us a bit about your involvement. Now, you kicked the whole thing off, didn't you? You took the officials' oath. How did that go?
It went well, thank you.
How did that happen? Did you get asked or did you volunteer?
I got asked because I'm part of my duties as an athlete leader.
Did you memorise it or did you read it?
I had a piece of paper which I read it off from. So
how were you before it? A bit nervous?
No, I'm used to it because I've done it before. So I've done the athlete's oath before, but the officials one was the same thing. So
now, what about you, Chelsea? How many state games have you been to before?
So I've been participating in the Special Olympic State Games since 2016, I think. Yeah, 2016. So quite a few since then.
And how did you go this time round?
I walked away with 3 golds and 2 fourths in the athletics.
Okay, we happy with that?
Oh yeah, definitely. Particularly since I'm going to be doing athletics at the National Games this year, and just really happy with how I went overall, especially in my throws.
Okay, so what 3 gold medals did you win? Which events were they in? 2
of the golds were for the turbo javelin and the shot put, and they're my like specialty events in athletics. And the 3rd gold was for the 100 metres.
So you like the throwing events by the sound of it, and you're good at the throwing events by the sound of it.
I sure am, yeah. I don't mean to brag or anything, and I'm pretty sure Andrew can vouch for me on this one, but I guess you could say I'm one of the best female throwers in the state.
Oh, we love people that brag, Chelsea. That's more than fine to do that. Tell us about the turbo javelin. What does that look like? How does that sort of look?
The turbo javelin is the like the little athletics equivalent to the regular javelin. So it's like smaller, and it's like throwing a one of those vortexes, if that makes any sense. And it doesn't have the pointy bit on the end.
Okay. Still wouldn't want to get in the way, though, would you?
No, you don't. And, well, you don't. Well, actually, you don't want to get in the way of me throwing full stop, to be honest.
I was going to say, that's probably true, yes. Well, I'm glad we've sorted that out, because if ever I come across you, I'll make sure I keep my distance. Social distancing adds a whole new meaning. Hey, Andrew, what about for you? How did you go, and what events did you go in?
I competed in tennis, and so I won a silver in singles and a silver in doubles.
We happy with that?
Yeah, and I'm competing in tennis at the National Games as well. Yeah.
Well, what made you turn to tennis? I'm assuming, like we've heard from Sarah in the past, that you get to try all different sports, and then those that you're either good at or that you like, you sort of stick with. Have you tried other sports, and what made you decide on tennis?
Well, one of my other sports is basketball as well, but my tennis, because I went to South Australia for the National Games and I played tennis there as well. So when I won a silver and a bronze.
I guess when you do well, it's pretty easy to keep coming back and wanting to keep continuing to do that sport. Yeah,
it is. Yeah,
and that's the same for you, Chelsea. You talked about how good you are at throwing. Did you try other sports, and throwing was the one that kind of really got you in as far as Been good at it and loving it?
Yeah, when I started with Special Olympics, I was mainly doing swimming, and then the athletics came on a couple of years later because I was doing athletics outside of Special Olympics as well. And it was only until the beginning of last year that I switched athletics clubs to be trained under a really well-known throws coach. So that's how I've become quite good at my throws over the years.
So you've got some natural talent, but the coach has got the best out of you.
Yeah, he does. He really does. So much respect for him too.
So, Sarah, what about overall then? Obviously, very, very successful. We've heard about Chelsea and Andrew, how they went. The games as a whole, you were pleased with the way it turned out?
Yeah, absolutely. We were really pleased with how everything turned out. We were a little bit worried that, we could be affected by COVID and things like that, but we seem to have escaped being a super spreader, so that's always a positive as well. But no, really happy with how everything went from the opening ceremony through to all the events, and again, so thankful to Casey. Yeah, did a few people get COVID, Andrew?
Yes, I did.
Did you get it?
Yeah.
Oh, how are you going now?
I'm out of isolation, so.
Did you get very sick with that?
No, not really.
I just tested positive, and I guess, on a serious note, that probably shows that if you can keep yourself in a pretty fit and healthy state, hopefully it means that if you get it, it doesn't impact you too much.
My three vaccinations as well.
That probably helps, yeah.
Well, actually, Peter, now that we're talking about it, Andrew actually was part of a It's Not Too Late to Vaccinate campaign in Victoria. Do you want to tell me a bit about that, Andrew?
Through Disability Sport and Recreation, we did a campaign. There's an actual video online through LinkedIn, through the DSR. It might be on the DSR page as well, Disability Sport and Rec page. Well, we're trying to get more people with disability vaccinated.
That's a very important message, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll share my message on as well.
You're a bit of a media star, Andrew.
Yeah.
Now, we'll talk about some other stuff that you do with Specialise in a minute, but we are recording this a little bit later in the day because you're at work today. Where do you work and what do you do?
I work at Endeavour Foundation, which is packaging for people with disability.
Yeah.
So, it's in Kew. So
you've been there a while?
I've been there about 8 years so now. So
okay, that's a good time. So it must be a good employee if you've kept your job for that long.
They're very flexible and let me do all this stuff with Special Olympics and do a lot of work for Get Skilled Access as well.
Well, it's Dylan Alcott's group.
Yeah.
Have you met Dylan?
Yeah, I've met him.
You probably beat him at tennis, I reckon, wouldn't you? He's not that good.
Nah, what? Nah. You'd be surprised how hard it is to play in the chair he's got.
Oh, no. I was only being serious. He's an amazing player, but I still reckon you'd beat him. We don't want to give him too big a head, do we? You're listening to LeisureLink here on Vision Australia Radio, 1197 AM in Adelaide and across the Vision Australia Radio Network, and we're speaking to Chelsea, Andrew, and also Sarah from the Special Olympics in Victoria, who recently had their state games. Sarah, I guess one of the great things about Specialise is obviously the competitions and the athletes that they do their sport in, but there's a kind of a role, or there are roles outside that. Tell us a bit about those, and then we can talk to Chelsea and Andrew about what they do.
Absolutely. So from an athlete point of view, we have our athlete leadership program. We also provide medical support. So we have sessions where we'll have, mass medical assessments of our athletes. There's also plenty of opportunity for people to volunteer at their local club, whether that be on the committee or as a sports coach or just helping out around in some sort of capacity. So, we've definitely got opportunities for anyone at any type of level, any age, where we're really interested in getting people involved.
That's a great thing, isn't it? Because I guess, sport is very, very important, but it gives you a bit of an insight into what goes into making an event happen, or making even a training session happen with the other sort of ancillary things that have to be put together for it to happen. Chelsea, have you got some sort of international connection, or have you had a bit of a dabble in the international area as well?
Indeed, I have. So I'm on the Law Enforcement Torch Run, or LETR International Council, as their athlete representative, and I think this is like the first or second time that someone outside of the US has been elected into this athlete representative position. So it's definitely a big deal amongst not just my club, but also all of Victoria, if you ask me.
Oh, that's tremendous. Congratulations. How did you get that role? Did you have to apply for it, or did someone come to you and say, we think you're the person?
Yeah, I had a few people ask if I wanted to apply for this position back in August, I think. Yeah, August. And what I had to do is submit a whole bunch of paperwork saying why I would be good for this position, and also attend a Zoom session at like 7:00 in the morning because of the time differences, and basically vouch to the council why I would be good in this position. And I was like one of only 2 Aussie athletes that have been been nominated, shortlisted for this position. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. And yeah, thankfully I was very successful at it.
Gee, you've been unlucky with the timing though, Chelsea. Maybe it had been pre-COVID, or in a couple of years' time, you could maybe have scored a trip to America, do you think?
Well, funny you should say that, because as part of my position on the International Council is they hold an international conference once a year, and I have to attend 2 of them during my 2-year period on the council. So after I get back from the National Games in Tassie, a few weeks later, in November, I'm going to be heading over to Texas for the council. So, yeah.
Awesome.
Tough life, isn't it, Chelsea? But someone's got to do it, I guess.
Yeah,
that's wonderful. That would be a wonderful opportunity. I'll tell you what, I'll make a little note of that, and we'll get back to you perhaps when you get back from the US and tell us a bit more about that. Andrew, what about your stuff away from the actual playing tennis, etc.? You've got some other roles as well, haven't you?
Last year, I think I was on the state committee for Victoria.
Are you involved in the leadership program as well?
Yes, I am. I went over to Austria for the 2017 World Winter Games as a representative of LATR.
What was that like?
Oh, it was awesome. We got to travel around 50 cities, carrying the torch through raising recognition for Special Olympics and that. So,
because it's very big in America, isn't it, Sarah? Yeah. Special Olympics, that's where it started. But for an opportunity like that, I guess it just shows if someone's listening in today and thinking, Special Olympics, maybe I could get involved, or my neighbour or someone down the street, or a child or someone I know could qualify. It opens up enormous opportunities, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
I got nominated as one of 10 athletes, the only athlete from Australia to go.
That law enforcement torch relay is amazing, isn't it?
It is.
I think I mentioned this last time we spoke to Sarah that I was in Adelaide, or I'm in Adelaide, but I was at the opening ceremony for the National Games in 2010, and it's just such a powerful thing, and the whole sort of police force gets behind it, which is just amazing.
Absolutely.
Now, you can't rest on your laurels, because you've got the Nationals coming up. Chelsea?
Yes, we do.
How much are you looking forward to that?
Yeah,
You're going overseas?
Well, basically, what's going to happen for me is I'm going to be attending the National Games in October for the week, and then come back home for a good few weeks, and then fly out again into Texas in November. So let's just say I'm going to have a busy second half of the year, I'll say that much.
I was being a bit tongue-in-cheek, because I said you're going overseas for the Nationals. Of course, they're in Tasmania.
Yeah.
And Andrew, you'd be looking forward to that, Andrew. How many Nationals have you been to?
This is my second one.
A very well-travelled person. Of course, you've got that trip to Austria as well.
Yeah.
Well, sounds like
how many hours of training are you guys doing in the lead up to game?
Well, I'm doing private on Tuesday night, and also my club training as well. And plus, I've probably got the national training coming up as well.
What about you, Chelsea?
And for me, at the moment, I'm training like 7 times a week, 5 of those being throwing sessions out at Ringwood here in Melbourne. And it also includes a gym session where I have to lift very heavy weights, I'll tell you that much.
How much, Chelsea? How much?
Well, at the moment, I'm benching like 45 kg. So
I can feel my back hurting already.
Oh God!
and then the 7th session I do is I swim in the pool with Special Olympics, just to kind of break up all the throwing that I'm doing.
Oh yeah.
So it kind of balances out quite a bit. That makes sense.
Sarah, it must be very satisfying when you hear stories like this with your role with Special Olympics. It must be very rewarding to kind of see this sort of success and I guess the growth in the athletes, both as athletes but also as people.
Absolutely. It's definitely what makes the job worthwhile and what I love to hear. I love connecting with the athletes and hearing their stories about all the amazing things that they're achieving.
Well, thank you for choosing Chelsea and Andrew for us this afternoon. Good luck to you in the future. I'm sure we'll keep in touch. And Chelsea and Andrew, thank you for your time. And congratulations on the state games, and we look forward to hearing much more from you in the future.
Yeah, thank you. Well, hopefully we get to go to Berlin next year as well.
Yes, of course, they're the World Games, which would be fantastic. You take care of yourself as well, Andrew. Make sure you get over that COVID, get rid of it totally and get back to your brilliant best.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for your time, Chelsea.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Peter, and hopefully we'll be able to see each other in person soon.
Yeah. Oh, well, you never know.
Right.
Take care, guys.
See ya.
You too. Bye.
Yes, bye.
That's Andrew Negrelli and also Chelsea Haag-witherdon and also Sarah Venning from Special Olympics Victoria telling us about their recent state games.
Hi, Alexa. Play Vision Australia Radio Adelaide.
Vision Australia Radio Adelaide from TuneIn.
Listen to Vision Australia Radio Adelaide via TuneIn on your favourite internet device.